quiet and we are humble. We've held our breath watching our city from our mountain. Our days have been family working, fighting to keep from stumble. And our space is kept fresh like it drank from the fountain. And there's love in this dirt, it's where grandparents are buried. And there are churches and meadows where our kids will get married. And they'll look back and remember Keene for what it is. It's a place to become yourself with a life worth to live. And as a young man I ran over every inch of my town. I saw peace on every street, taught me to focus my sound. And it made me feel unique, like a spark in the dark. And it made me build up my community and show them New Hampshire's got heart.
One of the many, many reasons why C.A.K.E existed, continue to exist, and I mean this 110%, is because of Marty Henham.
Oh my gosh, who wants to hear that story? Well, I guess what's probably most important is that I was born in southern Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. My dad was the doctor in the village and my mom worked at the school, and so being the youngest, I would go to school before I was supposed to go to school. I was there playing games with people and directing people around. I know that might be a surprise to you, but I lived in Africa until I was 5, and then we moved to Newton, Mass. That was a pretty huge culture change from being the only white kid, moving to a completely white community where the African American kids didn't want to be friends with me. I think that cultural adaptation struggle led me to kind of what like working with adolescents. I think in elementary school I used to say I wanted to be an actress or a teacher. So I ironically ended up teaching acting.
Well, Marty was, as she was called, Martha, very much the same personality. She was very bubbly, very friendly and inclusive and encouraging.
I was walking out and Tommy Martin was with me and we were now new friends in the 7th grade. This kid came up and was like starting to pick on me. He started punching me. It was like, I think was his name, and we should edit that out for legal reasons. And it just starts. This kid is beating the crap out of 2 kids now, me and Tommy. And Martha shows up and she's like, "You will not treat my friends like this. These are my friends." She gets in between these kids fighting and she stops it. And he was afraid of disappointing her. Saved our butts that day. So that's.
Jimmy's a good storyteller.
Is that a true story?
Oh, it's totally true. Totally true. No, I don't remember any of those details. I mean, I remember definitely Jimmy was the skinny, wimpy kid that was getting the crap beaten out of him and I got in the way. And I didn't remember the name of the person, but that's hilarious. I want to say the 1st grade, I was the ugly duckling in the ugly duckling. And I still know the song and I can sing it for you if you want me to. And that was my first performing experience, and then I just kind of never stopped. But I've always loved games, I've always loved playing, I've always liked people. And my mom ran into a neighborhood friend, Timmy's mom at the grocery store, and she said Timmy went to this camp and he loved it and she thought I'd like it. And so that was this summer going into 6th grade.
This is a brand new play. It's been read through once by the staff. This is the 2nd reading of it. So it's brand new. What becomes of it is we're turning it over to you. Your input is very important. If it seems like your part is insignificant, we will work together to make it seem more so.
So I went to Charles River for the month of July and I just kind of met my people.
I was probably 9 or 10 years old when I first went. I begged my mother to keep sending me.
Charles River Creative Arts Program and freelance players have been so impactful in my life. I probably would say that I lived through my teen years because of them.
It was life-changing and it shaped who I became as an adult. I learned all about resiliency from auditions and from rejections. I learned about empathy by imbuing myself with a particular character, but also because of the people who were charged with caring for us as counselors, who were charged with ushering us into this world.
We were from all different towns, all different backgrounds, all different skill levels. These arts programs are so intense. We had 4 weeks. to put on a full-length musical, do all this stuff. And we just jumped in, and I loved it, and that was really changed my life.
So it was a family affair, right? We had Kippy, Toby, and his mom really was the sort of the driving force. I just remember sort of the energy and positivity that she imbued.
Well, Priscilla Dewey, whose nickname was Nissy, is the founder of the Charles River Creative Arts Program. She had 3 children, Kippy, who later became my mentor, Toby, who later ended up running the Charles River Creative Arts Program, and her son, Peter, who was the technical director of the program.
So they hired my mother, and she put a shape to the whole thing, this whole multi-arts concept where you provide offerings in all the arts, art, dance, drama, music, media, writing, photography, textiles, sports, all these opportunities for kids, and everyone gets to have their own individual schedule.
So Nissy ran the program, and Kippy was the director of the theater department, and so she became my mentor. So basically I tried to replicate Kippy's life when I came here and saw that there was a need for this kind of a program.
Yes, my name is Kippy Dewey, and I've known Martha, the originator of C.A.K.E, for a long time. She was probably a little girl.
What makes it special for us is that we get as much out of it as the kids.
Kippy's unique, but she really was an apple that fell close to the tree from her mom. I'm not saying she mimicked her mom, but she really had that same positivity that her mother brought.
Kippy and Toby and Nissy, they were the first people that really gave me the sense of having a feeling of choice in my life.
Yeah, I owe so much to Kippy. I owe so many of my friendships and probably my career because of knowing Kippy.
Toby came along later and as a counselor, and then he ended up taking over when Nissy retired. And then I was Toby's assistant director for many, many years.
She grew up in the program, she was a CIT in the program, and she actually taught in the program as a counselor. She obviously showed leadership way back then, and a commitment and caring, and she's always been very thoughtful working with others.
I'd also run a similar model at the Brimmer and May School in Chestnut Hill, but I had an international arts program. And my boss came up to me at lunch and was like, I want to introduce you to somebody for a blind date. And I really had no interest. And then when she told me details about Vaughn, I still had no interest. He was in New Hampshire. I mean, there was nothing that I was interested in at all. But she was my boss, so I kind of had to say yes. So we went on a double date, and I met Vaughn. Every day I got a Federal Express envelope in the mail, and it was like a brochure of the Colonial Theater or the Peterborough Players. And he was like, look at all the cool things we have in the Monadnock region, and you can make a difference. And I was like, I don't want to make a difference. I don't know if I want to go up there. We just built this brand new theater at Brimmer and May. My program was thriving. I really wasn't planning on moving to Keene, New Hampshire, but sure enough, I moved to Keene. I knew nobody, and it was hard to leave Boston. It was hard to leave what we had built at Brimmer and May and my life down there, but I knew it was time. Well, my first thoughts were like, what am I doing here?
So Keene is based in New Hampshire. It's a rural community. It's seen as the kind of a satellite center where a lot of the little rural communities will come in. So it has more services here in Keene than you would expect for a town of 25,000 because it services, I think the number for everyone around is about 100,000 people.
So I saw all this great adult community theater, but I didn't see anything with kids, and I was like, that's so strange. So I went to take a dance class at MoCo Arts.
I'm Carol Batchelder, and I joined MoCo. I went from the corporate world to the nonprofit world. You're so in touch with the community there, and in the corporate world, you're so isolated. MoCo Arts started out as the Moving Company Dance Center. It was established by a woman from Boston who was looking to make a place for adults, more adults than children, to enjoy the arts and movement.
So we've had a lot of different offerings, but we've always come back to this core of who we are as transforming lives through movement and creative expression.
Our best bet to succeed as an organization was to focus more on children and to become a nonprofit.
So I met with Carol Batchelder and I said, you know, I have this crazy idea, but I know of this model of an arts camp that I've actually run before and I grew up, and I know that there are other models all over the country that I think we can implement here. But we'll need to get some support from other people.
You have to have a passion for the arts if you're going to put together any kind of program of especially the arts.
I reached out to Acting Out from MFS. At the time, there was an organization called Life Art that Gail Colony was running. Paula Aarons was a dance instructor at MoCo.
And I got a phone call and she said, "Hi, Paula. What are you doing this summer?" And I said, "I don't know. What am I doing this summer?"
And I met with these people and I said, this is the idea. And I tried to kind of find one key leader from each of the disciplines.
Do you want art? Do you want music? Yes. Dance? Yes. Video? Yes.
And proposed this idea and kind of had some buy-in from these various groups.
We met each other's energy and kind of exploded forward from there.
So I found this incredible group, and there was a small group of us. We were small but mighty. And the very first summer we were at the Keene Middle School, and that was our home base. Laura Carbonneau was in that first group of kids.
Hi, my name is Laura Carbonneau, and I was a camper at the first year of C.A.K.E. I think just because I was living in Keene and had done MoCo before, C.A.K.E. was just, you know, we probably got a paper newsletter or something like that. It wasn't email at the time, which is crazy. It was something new that we were kind of all experimenting together with.
Getting to spend 4 weeks just doing theater and music and hanging out with all these other creative weirdos. I mean, that was a really magical experience.
It was a little wild. It was a brand new idea for us as teachers. It was a brand new idea for these students.
And I mean, the first year we were at the old middle school. It was a pretty janky little operation. You know, classes were at the old MoCo building and at Acting Out, which was an acting program that used to be in Keene.
Jody Leach was our music teacher, and our instrumental program was so weak that his band he turned it into the junkyard band because we didn't even have enough instrumentalists that could actually play instruments.
Jody Leach taught this like junkyard band, and so was taking like 5-gallon tubs and other things and kind of recycle percussioning and making a band that way.
I mean, it was such a shoestring production. I mean, we were like bare bones, but everybody was so into it and everybody was so positive and eager to make it work. I mean, I picked the best educators. They were amazing. Everybody was working for peanuts. Nobody was in it for the money. And everybody was just kind of willing to do what we needed to do to make it happen, even the kids.
I do remember that there was a lot of growth in those years that I was there. I don't remember it as feeling small. It always felt busy and, you know, very alive and all that.
Looking back on it, it's amazing that she was able to pull it off given, you know, we had a very small staff, and as a camper, it was like the most magical experience ever.
We have, at the end of camp is our festival week, where it's the culmination of all the work that we've done all summer. So that includes our film festival, our extravaganza that highlights mostly our dance and our music performances.
Well, Festival Day, the end goal is to celebrate what the kids have all learned in different ways.
We have a 1-act and a musical. Sometimes we have 2 musicals. And we also have our visual arts gala, so all of our visual artists can highlight all the work that they've done as well.
I definitely recall my first few days as a counselor feeling, maybe I shouldn't use the word exhausted, overwhelmed.
There was just a lot of logistics and a lot of how is this going to work out? And oh, it's thunderstorming, and oh God, gosh, now there's hail. Okay, daily things. Oh, and the air conditioning isn't working. And oh, it's 90 degrees in that room. So there were a lot of things to deal with that year, but at the same time, it was a smaller group of campers.
We have 50 students our first summer. I was really determined for the camp not to be just for kids from affluent families.
She helped with the early scholarship programs and really made that feasible for me and my family, which was pretty amazing at the time because I didn't think I'd be able to do something like that. I'd never done like a 4-week camp, a big summer camp up until that point. So that alone was really impactful.
At that point, Winchester had not started sending their kids to Keene High yet. So we had a van that first year that we were driving to Winchester to pick up kids to bring them to C.A.K.E. And I just remember little Aaron Howland, who is an amazing performer, waiting at his Winchester bus stop with his Shel Silverstein book and his clarinet case, and bringing those kids. And our first noontime shows in the studios at the old MoCo building. At one point I brought them to Robin Hood to swim, and they were like, forget it, these kids don't care about swimming, they want to do art,
I just remember having one of the best summers of my life and meeting some of the first year and then even more so the second year, people who are still some of my best friends today.
I don't know what I thought after that first year, but it grew really fast. It was very clear to me that it would keep going. Yeah.
When we were trying to start this up, I met with, I think it was the mayor, and he said, Carol, Keene's a sports town, and the arts will never make it here. And we proved them wrong.
So I had heard about Paul from the very beginning. When I moved to town, everybody talked about how amazing Paul was. So I didn't have Paul my first summer, but I did get him the second summer. And I immediately, loved Paul, clicked with Paul. And then when I said to him, all 3 of your girls can come to camp too, he was like, this would be awesome. I can go to camp with my daughters.
I know some people have different relationships with their parents and maybe wouldn't be fun for them to be in a camp environment with their father. But for me, it was always a nice thing.
You would always see him during lunch when everybody was in one room yapping, and he was in the lobby with one camper who was shy and didn't want to be with anybody else, and he would just be sitting there next to them, and he would just check on their little handheld video games, be like, oh, what are you doing? He always took care of on the sidelines. He's never ever been someone who wants to be front and center, hence why he's not doing this. But
he doesn't like being in the spotlight.
He doesn't like to be in the spotlight, but he likes to pay attention to other people who also don't like to be in the spotlight and check in on them.
So he came the second summer, and he immediately became one of my best friends, and such a hard worker, very passionate about arts education, very much a believer in the process along with the product, and willing to do anything. So he just jumped in, and he became an integral part of the program. So the day begins with morning meeting, and that's kind of communal time, and we do announcements, and then you go off to first period, second period, third period.
You would get with your counselor, your group, your walking group, basically, and you walk to wherever in town you're supposed to be.
Unlike a lot of other summer camps, kids get to choose what they're doing. They pick their curriculum for the summers. There are 5 class periods, and they can pick a variety of classes. If a student is all interested in theater, they can take all theater classes, but they could take a theater class, a dance class, a music class, a drawing class, and a cooking class. So they have a lot of variety and options of what to choose from. Throughout the day, obviously, we have lunch.
You have lunch with whomever you want to have lunch with. As a director, I used to say to the staff, you have to eat with your morning group. Most camps, you're like a guinea pig or a pollywog or a wombat, and you're with that group for the whole day. And the pig, they go to all the same things. This arts camp, the kids are much more independent. And then every day after lunch is what I call the heartbeat. of C.A.K.E is the noontime shows.
Every day at camp, we had noontime shows, which are now called C.A.K.E Mixes, and those are essentially an opportunity for campers to showcase their talents without the competition.
We have another activity called Festival Period, where students can do other activities throughout the day that are games and other smaller craft projects that they are only committed to for one day.
Festival Period is like sort of a freebie, like a one-off class that someone wanted to teach, but it's like kind of niche.
It gives kids a chance to try a class that they might never take before. So it's really important to have those options so that the kiddo who's in the art studio all day could actually dabble and maybe take a dance class or take an improv class and get a little taste of something that they're not actually taking as a regular class.
And then you had 2 more classes and then dismissal.
So I did kind of want to pay respect to Nissy and Charles River Creative Arts Program, and so I wanted to have arts program in the title. And so we talked about creative arts at Keene. So, then the initials would be C.A.K.E, and I was like, we cannot have a camp called C.A.K.E.
So we were calling it C.A.K.E for a really long time because that's like what creative arts at Keene, if you think of it that way.
Growing up at Charles River Creative Arts Program, it was CRCAP, which was crap, and people made fun of it all the time. So I was like, we have to have good initials. We have to have good initials. So
it ended up being C.A.K.E, and it was just like a really cool experience that the students got to be like invested in the process of creating what is now like C.A.K.E.
I was bound and determined not to have a camp called C.A.K.E because that would have been too many hairball jokes.
My name is Eric Snare. I've been there since the 2nd year of camp, and now I'm on the leadership team.
So I met Eric through the Acting Out MFS piece.
Eric was like a huge guidance for me, I feel like, because while I love musical theater, like I love comedy and like straight plays a lot, and I feel like a lot of that is through Eric. Doing improv with him throughout the years. He also had this class, Wild Bills, which was so much fun. So amazing. We would read a Shakespeare play and then break it down and put it into kids' terms, and it ended up being like a 30-minute play.
Right, and you're 11, 12 doing that. Like, you don't get that opportunity anywhere else.
I feel like I'm funny because of Eric.
I went to Marty and I said, hey, there's this thing I know how to do, chainmail jewelry, it's putting together little metal rings. I think you'll be into it. And she seemed skeptical. You think we'd get people for that? And I was like, yeah, like obviously. It was so obvious to me. I'll tell you what, why don't we do it as a festival period offering, and if there's interest, then we'll do it as a class. I'm down this hallway, so I'm sitting on these benches, and people start showing up. I'm like, okay, here's your pliers, here's what we're gonna do. We got these little metal rings, here's how it works. And more people showed up, and I gave away my pliers. And so eventually, there were like 18 of us blockading this hallway. I was sitting there chainmailing with 2 forks. Because I had given away all of the pliers. And I go to Marty, so I think there's interest. I think we can do this. That was the beginning of chainmail.
I think the nomadic piece of it was the biggest challenge.
We were located all over Keene. Our workspaces were all over the place. So we were walking students all around downtown.
My other arts group directors thought I was crazy to do that, but I actually think it ended up being a really cool part of C.A.K.E.
C.A.K.E has a beautiful way of transforming any space that it utilizes into a functional space to help kids.
At first I was kind of apologizing that we were nomadic and that we didn't have a space that would work, but then I started to see that it was actually a really cool part of the program, and that we were using all of these different resources in the community and not just relying on one campus.
We moved over to having all of our morning stuff in the Salvation Army. We were partnering with them for a number of years.
But we used this space for our morning meeting, closing meeting, for some of our dance classes. It was a multi-use space, and we are so lucky.
It was so loud. so loud. It was like full of boisterous joy, you know?
I remember walking into this big room, it was super hot, and seeing all these people, and I was always super social when I was younger, so I was so excited to like make new friends.
We started working with the church, the UCC church.
She said, hey, an alternate source place would be great for this cake camp to happen because we're really getting great interest in it, and our building is too small, so can you accommodate? And it was the best thing that we could have ever said yes to, because what happens is every room in this church is just filled with kids, and you have the kids singing and practicing in the dining room, and then you'd go upstairs and they'd be doing these craft activities like with metalworking, and then oftentimes working on their film or video work, and out in the halls in between trying to film something themselves. So for 1 month, we just had this amazing energy in here, and we just loved it.
People in the community started seeing young people in a really positive light. And then I started to hear from people that July was their favorite month because they loved having all the kids downtown. It's funny that what at the beginning I thought was a weakness of the program, in the long run ended up, I think, being a real strength of the program.
Well, having the model that Priscilla created was, quite unusual.
Students really get to pick their own thing. So it's not that you show up at camp and get told what to do, but way before camp starts, you're looking at descriptions and talking to your friends, and you're thinking about what you might really want to try as a student. And so it provides that platform for them to have choice.
If you're not a huge fan of dance, but you love performing arts and visual arts, then you can pick to do that.
I like that you're able to pick the stuff that you like, so that you have fun and don't end up getting something you don't like that ruins the experience.
Especially as a middle schooler, I felt like that was really good preparation for me to know what picking high school classes. It made me feel more independent because then you have control over what you want to spend your time doing.
I think making your own schedule is cool because you can do something totally different than your friend and still meet them again later in the day.
Noontime show is a show that would happen every single day at camp, and a couple counselors would always be in charge of hosting the noontime shows.
And the noontime show really lets you showcase anything you want, whether it's art, a talent, a dance, a song.
It's really important time to help teach young people about how to be an audience member. We spend time talking about, don't talk while people are performing, don't get up and leave when people are performing, how to be supportive of people who are performing.
I think a lot of what MoCo and C.A.K.E taught me was just to believe in myself, and that I can be myself around my peers and also show the community the amazingness that is performing. Yeah.
We've had people do everything from going up there with a full screen accurate cosplay to just going up and wiggling their eyebrows. And people are equally supportive of both.
The counselors would always be really good about hyping everyone up, and everyone would go crazy no matter what was shown or performed. It was super special because it encouraged everyone to get on stage. In a multi-arts camp, it wasn't just for the dancers and singers and actors. I mean, it was everyone.
It's really important during noontime show that anybody that gets up there to perform leaves the stage feeling successful, no matter what they did.
I think I sang Wicked, and it was the first time I ever performed in front of anybody, and then I never stopped. And I've done theater ever since, but it completely changed my life as a theater kid because I've always wanted to do it, but I never felt safe enough to do it. And being in this nice little room with with people I knew, I could get up on stage in front of a microphone, and I tried it. That definitely changed my life.
There was one summer where my group of friends and our goal, we planned this. We had a meeting and we planned this, was to have one of us represented in every single noontime show.
Laura and her peer group were very enthusiastic.
Yeah, we were such attention hogs, theater kids, which makes total sense. But yeah, we wanted to be in so many noontime shows.
And about midway through maybe the second or third week, I think Marty and the other staff staff got wind of like what we were trying to do.
And we didn't know that at first, like it was a secret, but then pretty clearly on, we started to catch on that it was like, they're up again, they're up again, they're up again.
Knowing us at that age, there may have been a little bit of entitlement and feeling like we deserved to be in every noontime show.
It got to the point where we were doing things that like weren't even like real talents.
So finally at some point, I don't know, maybe week 2 or 3 or something, I had to pull them aside or say to the staff, like, they can't be in every single show. Like, we gotta make space for other kids.
The next summer, there just so happened to be a rule in which you could only be in the noontime show maybe once a week instead. So, sometimes rules get made in their happy little accidents.
I think one of my challenges over the years as a director has been trying to make sure it's not always focused on the performers. And I think that's an inherent challenge with these programs, that the musical theater kids, the one-act kids, the performers get so much attention. And I really struggled with that and tried to find ways to make sure that the creative writing, that the visual arts, that the non-performing kids and teachers felt as important, because those art forms are just as important and have always been, and dovetail and complement the other forms. And so I think that's an inherent challenge with these programs. And the technical theater component was really important for kids who didn't want to perform.
First year I was there was no tech program for classes. We had prop making, we had set making, but there was no real tech, sound and lighting program. I can wholeheartedly say that at the beginning, it really was, kind of just me and Alex, because Alex, in my opinion, was kind of doing me a favor, and, saw I liked doing it, so he wanted to teach me a little bit and, could use the help.
So after working at C.A.K.E for a number of years in the technical role, it became apparent that we needed some additional help, and had a friend from college that was still in the area that also worked in the technical field.
Emily knew how to teach kids and work with kids, and knew what she was doing on the tech side. So
there are 2 groups of people in life. There are camp people and there are not camp people. And Emily's definitely a camp person. So I immediately knew that she needed to join our crazy team, and she jumped right in. Her energy is infectious. Her enthusiasm is infectious. I've always said you can stick Emily in a room with white walls and kids, and she'll find a way to make something fun happen. So her energy and passion just became an integral part of the program.
I am from a very large family, and we used to play school when we were kids, and so those first few years I really did feel like I was playing school. I was like, oh, we're going to create worksheets and we're going to do this, and it would all fall apart, and it was fine. We figured it out. To my understanding, before I got there, kids didn't really touch the gear, and I thought that was stupid, because there's no better way to learn than to actually push the buttons. The class preceding the noontime show would get the list from the counselor who was the MC that day, and we would figure out exactly what each set change would look like and what light cues would go with it. And the more the kids did it, the more they were hungry to learn, which was then got me more excited to learn, and then I would get more excited to teach, and then the program just sort of erupted.
Apparently I introduced the idea of, that's going to be something that, kids are going to want to do and learn, so.
And then we were teaching kids how to use saws, which was terrifying and amazing. Nobody lost any fingers. I, knock on wood, hold that to a point of pride to this day.
Okay, well, here we go. So if I remember right, I want to say it was the year 2010. It was the year that we were doing Beauty and the Beast. Again, it was that time period, not a lot of kids, so you got to do a lot of the work yourself. You didn't have much competition, right? Festival day could be a long day. It was a fun day. It was a real productive day, but it was a long day, especially for 9, 10, 11-year-old Andrew. Apparently was a little tired and needed a break. There was 3 large platforms. There were 4x8 platforms with 2 walls on either side. Certain scenes we pulled them off, and apparently I felt that was a good sleeping area, that nobody would bother me. And next thing I know, I'm waking up because all the lights are shining on me, and I'm like, well, that's not normal. I'm used to dress in black and, not be seen. Peter played the Beast in that. He came up the platform, and I think he saw me, and He played it off like he didn't, and I looked over to the side, and all I see is Emily going, "Keep your head down." Don't quote me on it, but I think there might have been a set change in there that wasn't in the script, and might have been an improv moment on the stage management side that got me off the stage.
There were a bunch of music classes. We added Adam Arnone, who's like does hip hop stuff, and so we added a hip hop class.
I think that I am someone who doesn't like musicals, and I don't like camp. So when I went, I was a little like, I don't know if this thing is for me. But when I got there, I realized that the amount of attention that gets paid to each individual kid, this whole working like hive mind of artists who come in, you know, spend their time with the kids over the summer to really build something, that to me was what was so interesting. And I felt like I was a little reserved at first because everybody was just so out loud and just like, we all sing all the time. I was a little like, I don't know if this is me. And then I never really left because I feel like I found a home there and I saw a lot of myself in those kids. I still don't like musicals, but hey.
We started to add more classes, like the film classes were added once I was a CIT, and I was a CIT for a couple of those classes.
Just like the kids were always so creative, like coming up with what we did. I remember one year, I was in a class with Laura and we did pastry, which was a spoof of cake. We had really ridiculous classes. I think one was like knot tying and like it just showed a kid like tying a knot. And then we did gutter puppies one year, which was a spoof of Reservoir Dogs. We poured a gallon of milk over him. And that's like one of my fondest memories at camp. It was so ridiculous.
So that's when the film program really started to take off, but then it kind of like became a monster of its own.
Stop the show! Everybody needs to get out! Evacuate the building!
And it kind of took over the camp. And then I had people being like, there's too much focus on the Zach movie and all of that. I don't take myself too seriously, and I always want to support what the kids are doing, and I think I played a bad guy.
Get in the car, Jack!
Marty, what's going on?
The last bomb's already wired. Get in the car, I'm gonna blow you to pieces.
I didn't remember this.
5 seconds to deliver it, Jack. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The bomb's in the car, Marty.
I totally forgot that. I do remember I was involved, but I totally forgot that. That's hilarious. Although now the older one of me is like, I shouldn't have been holding a pretend gun. I think one of my kids saw it and got really upset when they thought I like blew up or something. I don't remember.
A young Mia Henham, who was not old enough to understand the idea of film and fantasy, was very upset by that. And if I remember right, remained very upset about that for the entire day.
I'm the most proud of our NSYNC Bye 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 parody music video. The kids told me that NSYNC was like One Direction, but better. I thought that was hilarious. We watched the real music video together, and the music video was the dancers on marionette puppet strings. And Adam Arnone was my co-teacher that year in that class, and so we decided he was going to be cast as the female ingenue, and we made like paper puppets of all of our band members. And then the epic car chase scene at the end was done with a Matchbox car. They really embraced how to translate that professionally done music video into our summer camp budget. But they had a blast, I had a blast, and it's top notch, I think.
We're going to kick off the show with an original song written by Rich Smith and Deanna Zilski for Creative Arts at Keene. Take it away.
Oh, are you still using the camp song? Steve, Katie, Amy and I, and Rich wrote that song. So we used to use a different, already written like pop song every year as the camp song. The song was always chosen by the person teaching the core of the music classes or MDing the musical. And so it was like an added stress on this person to just, and then have to teach it to everybody. And so it just was a thing. And so one summer, I don't know how many years ago now, I said, Marty, can we do this? And Marty, of course, was like, yeah, go ahead, because that's how she empowers so many people in our community. It was a collaborative event. I worked with Adam Arnone and Steve to come up with the melody line and the lyrics.
They're the one that has like the rock guitar and stuff, like creative arts. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You wrote it.
I think we did.
You, me, and Adam wrote it.
Yeah. And the rap.
He did the rap.
Together like chainmail to make films and plays. So together the memories in your July days. Let's dance through the love all together right now. Sing along with me. It's time to get high.
So he did the rap, we wrote the lyrics and the music to it, and then taught the camp. I didn't know they still used it. That's really cool. So yeah, I co-wrote the C.A.K.E song.
So my mom grew up in mid to late 70s. Her mom would drop her off and then she'd go to this performing arts camp, do her theater shindig, hang out with like these cool kids, and she really enjoyed it. And growing up, she told me a lot about camp, and she never specified like what it was. She would just refer to it as camp.
We weren't gonna push anything, but because she was my daughter, she was subjected to all my stories about this wonderful camp that I went to as a youngster. And one day she comes to me and she starts telling me about this camp that's at the dance studio called C.A.K.E. And I'm asking her all about it, knowing full well that this is Marty's camp. And it was just mind-blowing. She came home bubbling over with excitement, just infused with the spirit of acceptance, of being your wild, crazy self, or being your quiet self when you need it, of understanding that she was being given the opportunity to try out 1,000 different things in one day. And that resonated more than anything that I might have told her.
I remember the first year that I went, I was like, what are we doing now? The circle game? Okay, a game? Sure. A game to end camp? Great.
The circle game was a song that Marty Henham sang at her camp, and she brought here when she created C.A.K.E.
It was the tradition at the mothership camp. At the last day, they would always sing the song together.
Well, the circle game is very representative of the beginning and the end of each of our legacies.
I know Martha was a big part of playing the circle game, and it was an incredibly emotional ending to camp. I know when we sang that, the last noontime show that we had was just always sort of powerful, and the kids were just had such an amazing experience, and that song is a beautiful song to sort of end it all, but it's also very poignant and sad and, you know, hard to move on from in a lot of ways. But I remember Martha singing that so beautifully all the time.
Just like the very last day at camp activities where we all like get together and we sing a circle game song. It really just like brings up how important camp is to people, as much as it may not like seem, or as much as it may be like subconscious. When you realize it's not going to be there for another year.
The traditions are nostalgic.
Absolutely.
You get to look and review at what you've been doing the past month.
You know, when you go to camp enough, by the second year, you are crying at the first notes of the circle game. Holding each other's hands and like just remembering that summer and how special it was, because every summer was so special in a different way.
It's a tradition about growing up and growing older and what that means for people. And when I was 16, I was that like poor teenage girl crying when we did the circle game at the end of camp, bawling my eyes out. Even though we don't want campers crying at the end of camp, we know that they're crying because they love it so much and camp is over and they won't be able to do it until next summer. Being able to like see myself in campers throughout the years, I've grown up and watched camp change. It holds special place for me, obviously from doing it at camp for so long, but now also having grown up in the program and kind of completing a circle game myself through being a camper and a staff member.
The song meant, you know, I'll come back next summer. It'll be here again. That the school year will happen, but I'll be able to come back. That things might change, but I'll be back here again.
Our old building on Railroad Street was an old machine shop, I believe, and it had 2 decent-sized studios and a much smaller studio upstairs. And by much smaller, I mean like a quarter of the size of this room almost.
The Railroad Street MoCo was, I mean, the most retrofit building that I can ever remember. When I started, the desk wasn't even as you walked in. It was like you would walk in the door and there was like a hole in the wall that Kelly sat behind.
We were bursting at the seams with just so many campers, and it was so loud because of it. I mean, the building was always loud.
It felt like going to hang out at somebody's house. Like the energy there was really homey. It was really cozy. It gave this sense of you can take a risk in here because we're all just playing and having fun together.
Yeah, it was a little rundown. It wasn't quite big enough.
We didn't have a theater space. It was a really old building and we were well over our capacity for it.
With C.A.K.E specifically, we were so many all at once.
We had the Salvation Army next door where we were eating lunch in the hot heat, and the classes and the noontime shows in the studios at Railroad Street. It was becoming a problem. We had to stop inviting parents and we couldn't have guests come anymore because we just didn't have enough room. And then the pickup line disaster before the new building. I mean, the whole neighborhood at the Railroad Street, the police, everyone was mad at us because our pickup line was creating like traffic havoc.
What was dismissal like? It was less of a well-oiled machine. I know that.
The traffic situation for pickup and drop-off was something else.
It was getting to the point where it was really not doable.
And so I remember sitting in meetings where they were big dreaming brainstorm sessions of, you know, with money and time and space isn't a limitation, what do we dream for in this space? And you start with that dream and then tailor it back within the restrictions of your budget, your space.
We have some great performances coming right up, but first, we want to talk about some exciting news. Alden, did you know that MoCo is moving?
What should a new building look like? Where could it be? What does it need?
Thank goodness that people were able to raise the money, that the development folks were able to raise the amount of money that they did, that the very generous donors.
And how much money do you think has been raised so far? Almost $4.4 million.
If we didn't get that new building, it was going to be a real problem.
And so we moved to this space in 2018. We purchased the land and worked with, our architects to come up with this, to help build this space.
The new building will have 3 full-size studios with a dedicated black box theater. The new black box will provide more opportunities for more theater programming. Now, are we forgetting anything? It wouldn't be MoCo if we didn't sing a song.
Distinctly my very first time in this building and was just totally in shock, because moving from there to this other building where we could now watch camp grow. We've seen the camp grow to over 100 for almost every single week, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without a building of this size. One of my favorite memories of camp from the first year we were in this building, the fire alarm went off during a noontime show one day, and so our evacuation point is under the
the parking garage. The smoke detector went off during the middle of what once was noontime show, and we had to continue noontime show in the parking lot. And it was like, I have videos on it on my phone.
And so it was in the middle of an act, and so we went all into the parking garage, and Logan Phillips, who was in the middle of his act, finished singing the Rainbow Connection.
It was scary, but I think it was also such a funny like moment, because it was like it was like a bunch of like panicked kids, and then all the counselors and CITs scrambling to like calm everyone down.
The space has kind of taught us to be more flexible in a lot of ways, because we now appreciate coming from something that we didn't have a lot of space to now this wonderful studio where we can, do so much more, I guess.
MoCo was able to design it with the idea of not only their classes during the school year, but thinking about C.A.K.E and what C.A.K.E would look like in a building that was designed for itself.
C.A.K.E always utilized every single space, every single material, but it finally felt like we had a place that was like at the caliber of where our numbers were, what our classes needed and wanted. So I think that was really exciting about going to the new building.
So the new building was the new opportunities it offered were just so exciting and amazing, and I think we all just felt like we were just really just basking in the benefits of all those years of hard work, of all those years of scrimping and saving, and we finally were in a space that reflected the quality of students and staff and material, and it was so exciting. And then COVID happened, and everything just went topsy-turvy.
Suddenly we were facing the idea of a camp that's about togetherness and belonging and doing cool art stuff together when people can't be physically together at all.
I remember thinking, was it even gonna happen?
I really thought that was going to be the end of C.A.K.E. I mean, everything about C.A.K.E is about connection and being together and space. I just couldn't imagine how we could do it.
Watching my mom try to figure out how to hold together a camp that was all about being together and we had to be separate was really, really hard.
And I mean, the kids were really upset because obviously coming to camp every summer, seeing their friends and everything was really important to them. And I had staff who needed jobs, and we just didn't know what we were going to do. And eventually we realized we had to do it remote. And that was the only way it was going to happen.
It was scary for a while. You just didn't really know what it was going to look like. I mean, no one knew what anything was looking like.
We had a lot of conversations about what we could do in the pandemic to continue to offer important programming to our community, to continue to be a support for families, to continue to enrich the lives of the children in the Keene area.
The great thing is that we had this network of other arts directors, and the four of us started meeting every Monday on Zoom to talk about what we could do with our arts programs and how we could find some kind of way to continue to offer it to the kids with COVID restrictions.
I know we can do this. I don't know what it looks like yet.
And so we had to really think creatively about what classes would work virtually.
We started doing it virtually. It was so different. And I remember that was when I did the senior show, and I remember I wasn't able to be in person. Some kids were able to be in person and they had to have everyone spaced out. In this very room, it was really different. And I also had to record myself in my basement saying my lines and singing my parts, and then they edited me into the musical once.
The one thing that was neat about COVID was that it did allow us to open up by having other people not in the New England area.
I got to meet a lot of people across the world. I met some people from Ireland, some people from Europe, and I also met really, really nice counselors who really shaped how I am currently in acting.
There were some improv classes, and we did a musical. We did a one-act virtually. I taught cooking classes virtually, which ended up being something I did as a side hustle for a couple years after.
Thankfully, in 2021, we were back in business in our brand new building, which really made C.A.K.E feel like it was entering its new era. I think it's really unique that this camp allows students to dictate what the traditions are. I think a lot of camps have the traditions established by the adults, but here at C.A.K.E, kids get to make the traditions on their own.
So I thought of the idea of doing a nature mockumentary that's sort of like National Geographic, but bad.
Back to the jungle.
That's one of my fondest memories, running around and acting like an idiot. It might not be acting, but it feels really good, and I feel proud when they laugh or they have a reaction, because it's like, you did that.
Something that we brought back a few years ago was the camp t-shirt design.
Every year at camp, we host a t-shirt design contest, and students actually get to design what appears on our t-shirts. This is last year's actually, so this is fitting.
These are the most recent year.
And then the whole camp gets to vote on what will appear on that year's t-shirt.
After you get the camp t-shirt, you have the option of having other people sign your camp t-shirt, and you can sign other people's t-shirt.
You can pull it out of your closet and like just remember like all the memories from that summer.
They'll write cute little messages or like funny things, or they'll call you funny names that you got over camp. And definitely when I like look at them at the end of camp and when it's like midsummer, I definitely miss it, and I'm so excited to like go back and get another t-shirt and maybe to see everyone.
I look back at the signatures that I have on my t-shirt and see that I get more signatures each year because I get more friends each year.
We all wore our t-shirts. We wore them on festival day and during the performance for the all camp song. We could get these shirts for everyone so that kids didn't have to pay for them. That it didn't have to be like, you can afford a shirt, so you get a shirt. You can't afford a shirt, so I'm sorry, but you have to sign a piece of paper instead.
3 years ago, he entered a t-shirt design that just said moo.
Yeah, there's like a long list of criteria that it's supposed, or not criteria, but like it's like suggested rules where it's like it should show the different things that camp can do. I was like, nah. So just on a piece of paper in all lowercase, I wrote moo period, and I was like, submitted it. I don't know why Marty let me submit it, but she did.
It was never disclosed if it won or not, but it caused a lot of issues.
Like everybody was very divided on whether the moo t-shirt should win.
I still, to my grave, will take it that Moo won and Marty did not want to make the Moo t-shirt. Which, I mean, I don't blame her at all. If I was in Marty's position, I would not have told me that won, because that would have been a terrible thing to tell me.
Oh man, Seth, are you okay? I'm never playing golf again.
This year, I kept the old man Seth skit going.
When I was up in Kansas, I never paid taxes. Tax fraud here and there. We love that.
It was this character that I made over my second year at C.A.K.E, and I was like, oh, an old man would be cool, because, you know, I'm not that old. I showed up to C.A.K.E with a cane, a vest, acted like an old man for the whole day. And they were like, are you old man Seth today? And I was like, yes, sir.
Love meeting you all. Just remember, the IRS is a very, very bad people.
I think I'm very proud of myself. Like, I really actually made these people laugh.
Since coming to C.A.K.E, I've been able to like express myself a lot more, and especially doing theater has allowed me to like express myself more, and I've like grown out of my shell, and it's so much easier for me to make friends now.
I was very scared, and like it was very nerve-wracking for me because I didn't really have a lot of friends, but like C.A.K.E is like a place where you can go and nobody will like judge you. You come and you're very scared, but then you like meet people and then they're very nice, so like you kind of like open up and then you're not scared anymore.
I have a stutter, and my first or second year of C.A.K.E, I was watching the musical they put on at the end of the camp. And me like watching the people performing and singing and doing all this fun stuff. and me just like thinking to myself, wow, like I could be in a show like this. I was really nervous. Again, like I was personally only interested in being like a part of the ensemble or getting like a smaller role because I was scared what people would think of like how I get stuck with my words like a lot. They've just like gotten me to just be really confident and like proud of myself for like who I am, and like how it doesn't matter, like it doesn't really matter like how different you are. You'll still be treated the exact same. You'll still be treated the same way as everyone else.
When I was in graduate school, I learned about something in arts administration called founder's disease, which is the idea that very often when a founder won't leave, an organization suffers because of that. I was starting to wonder if it wasn't time for me to move on and let somebody else kind of come in and take over.
I don't know if she ever like sat me down and told me that it was gonna be her last summer. I think I was just really happy because I felt like she could finally take a step back and be like, all the hard work has paid off. Camp had quadrupled in size and was now in a new building that could host that. I mean, she just worked tooth and nail to like create the program that she did. And I think when she was retiring from C.A.K.E, it was because she could finally take a step back, and all the hard work, everything she had done to make the program what it was, all the long hours, all the early mornings, it was because she could finally step back and it was like done. Like she had created an amazing foundation for the program, for the camp.
I'm a team person. I love being a part of a team. Yes, I was the director, the artistic director of the program, but I'd like to think, and I hope they feel that way, that I always wanted it to feel like a team, whether it was the admin team, the staff. I never wanted to be top heavy. I mean, I had to be at certain times, but that's not my style.
And she said, so I'm gonna be retiring, and it would really make me feel good to know that in terms of like the student well-being, and that to know that you were continuing on in the leadership team, because we really built this camp together in many ways, and I felt honored to be asked and scared. Those are big shoes, you know?
We interviewed, we searched, and I had to step out of the process to a certain point because I was too biased and I couldn't be objective. So I gave my 2 cents, but I had to step out. But the good news is that what ended up happening was the person that was hired to take over was someone who was a camp person, someone who knew the program, who also knew the theater program, who grew up in that program, loved that program, and was kind of a perfect match. And that was Laura.
As long as I've known her, she has been the kind of woman who just gets things done and seems to be able to juggle a million things and makes it look easy. I don't know when she sleeps, all of the logistics, all of the administrative stuff that requires, but then turn around and, be a goofy kid with all the other kids. I couldn't imagine anybody but Laura being in that position.
She is maybe one of the most dedicated friends I have. She is always there. Like, she's so available emotionally and physically, and as much energy as she puts into her own success, I find that she encourages that like in her friends and in me.
So I did Annie with Laura. Annie was my first show, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, this girl is so cool and I want to be like her.
She was my first CIT, so I got really attached to her. She was always like super crazy and funny, like the funniest person I knew.
Laura had kind of like clearly been her protege for a couple years now.
Laura's like a younger sister to me. Laura gets it. She understands the program. She grew up in it. She has seen the growing edges. Yes, she left for a while, but that's a good thing. You come back with fresh perspective. It's always good to step away from things. She's totally passionate about it. I mean, you meet Laura, you know how much she loves C.A.K.E, and you know how much she loves MoCo. She doesn't hide it.
When leadership changes, sometimes the program radically changes, but this just, it feels the same, which is really wonderful. So I think that C.A.K.E as an institution has been able to withstand all different counselors coming in and out each year and still functions as this like cohesive experience for kids.
She has a personality similar to Marty, that energy, enthusiasm, and commitment to children.
Marty was teaching some of the classes. I don't exactly remember which ones. I don't think I had her in my classes, but I kind of had a instant like, oh my gosh, this woman is like so cool vibe with her. You know, like my dad was always a camp director, and everyone who ran the summer camps that I went to were all male. And so seeing someone be really passionate about a camp and being like a camp director too, and female, I was like, oh, this is like so cool. She's doing what I like to do. I snotty was like, I'm gonna run this camp one day to my friends there. So I guess I manifested that because of Marty. Like, she really inspired me. But like, I really wanted to show like, yeah, I could step up and run this whole shebang. And I found out the very last day of camp, and I couldn't tell anyone.
I told Marty I would read this up her behalf because she thought she might do that. So, dear K.E.K. campers and amazing staff.
Marty did this whole thing at the end of camp. I was like bawling my eyes out, and everyone was like, Laura's just emotional, the camp's ending.
As many of you know already, this is my last summer leading K.E.K., being the artistic director of theater program here at MoCo. This is not, however, my last summer on K.E.K. I am just going from helping you change your schedules to being your biggest cheerleader. I am not going away, and you can always reach out to me if you need anything.
She was super proud of whoever was going to be next, and she knew that I got the job.
I know for a fact that there will be a new wonderful leader, but that will be announced next week. I am thrilled to say that my baby, as Kate, all of you will be in great hands.
That was a really special moment because the staff seemed really happy, which also was a big relief.
Oh, I feel so honored. I feel really honored that I was able to have this experience. I feel honored that I worked with the most incredible staffs over the years. The teachers and the staff have been just unbelievable. The young people that we've had a chance to work with over the years have been incredible gifts and have taught us so much over the years. And I'd like to think that, you know, that K.E.K. brought joy to some people. My hope is that everybody can look back and it makes you smile. It brings you a happy, warm something in your heart, and that you can pass that on.
Marty, thank you so much for creating my favorite place, for my favorite thing to do each summer, for your years of wisdom and mentorship, and for all the fun you've been able to provide me, as well as hundreds and hundreds of kids in the Monadnock region.
Thank you for taking a chance on someone who had never been a teacher. Thank you for giving me every opportunity that has led me to production managing my own theater.
You are kind and generous, and you are always giving.
Marty, I think you're a brilliant leader, and I'm forever grateful for everything that you've given to the arts and to our community in Keene in general.
You are such an amazing person. You are such a good role model. You are so strong.
Thank you so much. And I know there are, at this point, probably thousands of other people who would say the same.
Thank you so much for being such an amazing partner in allowing me to participate in bringing such valuable work to our youth and our community at large. It was a really good time.
You have changed our community. It is forever better and different because of your presence here, and I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you so much for seeing something in me at that young age and really carrying that into my my life outside of MoCo.
You are just so selfless, so caring, and anyone who has you in their life is so lucky to know you because you are always there to support people.
Thank you, Marty, for making this camp and making a great place for people to make friends and make great memories.
Marty, thank you so much for getting me involved with C.A.K.E. It has definitely changed my life entirely, giving me new friends.
Thank you so much for all the love and support you've given your campers in and outside of camp.
Thank you for the years of dedicated work, and I feel really honored I got to watch you do what you do growing up.
Thanks, Marty. You're great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Martha, dearest Martha, I thank you for being who you are and being the lovely spirit that you brought to us all and have given us all. As we march on, as we continue on with the arts program mentality, because of you, because of you. Thank you, Martha.
Kids need space to just be. And I think that that's not really what school is.
Kids need opportunities, safe places for self-expression, and programs like C.A.K.E, while it may not explicitly say you are safe here, you feel it.
Art is increasingly maybe being defunded throughout schools, and so some of the kids who come to us during the summer don't necessarily have access to a robust arts program during the school year.
They very often let a young person be in a new community, and get, an opportunity to recreate themselves, so to speak. As you're taking risks in your arts, you're also taking risks in your own personal growth and development.
The arts allow us the opportunity to say, who am I, who are you, who are we together? Trying something, revising it, editing it, recreating. It tells children that you are always in the process of recreating and telling your story, and whatever that looks and feels like is honored and correct, and that you as an individual are important to the process.
I think what makes C.A.K.E really special is that camper-centeredness.
We weren't just making an arts camp where product is the point. It was very student-centered.
If you thought you were gonna like acting and you wind up on stage and you have the worst stage fright in the world, you can drop that class and sign up for writing and nobody is going to judge you for it. And through trying all of these things, kids would discover talents or passions that they never even would have thought of exploring.
Talking to people you never would have otherwise, or being a leader in spaces you never thought you could.
The importance of knowing that you can always go back to people you love and spaces that you love, and hopefully feel loved is the important thing.
This year is going great because of the food. I'm in a lot of shows. It's just fun. I have my friends. And this is just my home place.
Everyone seems to just be closer together this year, and it's just been a great year.
C.A.K.E has been awesome. I've been waiting for C.A.K.E to happen.
C.A.K.E this year is going awesome. I like festival period because there's usually a lot of fun games to play.
I like festival period. Well, I like it because it's more of a chilling time, because sometimes you can chill more. C.A.K.E is going awesome. I've been waiting for this year ever since the last day of C.A.K.E last year ended.
My favorite part of the day is C.A.K.E mixes because it's really interesting to watch people put on all different acts.
My favorite class is probably, I'm just gonna say all classes.
I get to make new friends, and I get to try new experiences, and I can try out for the C.A.K.E mix and show off my talents.
So much fun with your friends creating this big production that you get to show your family and friends.
My favorite part of the day is probably the mornings and the afternoons, because it's fun to see all the campers come in, but it's also fun to be like, hey, see you tomorrow, or like, work on that tonight, or just like debriefing with other counselors is really fun too.
I honestly like morning meeting. It's fun and we get to like say good morning in different languages, and there's like inspirational quotes.
I think cake mix and like festival period because I like doing the festival periods with everyone, and I like the cake mixes because they're funny to watch.
Camp now is really big. We have a lot of kids at camp, and that's, I think, maybe our biggest challenge moving forward is how do we accommodate for so many more students? We have such a wide variety of classes, and every year we keep adding new things. We've added board game design and Dungeons and Dragons and our rock bands, which are amazing. And so we keep adding and adding. We have to constantly be adapting and figuring out like, okay, what is the next thing and how can we stay on top of that? And how can we get the staff who know how to teach that as well?
My hope for the future of C.A.K.E is that it continues to be a joyful, positive role in everyone's lives. I don't ever want the joy of creating and being together as a community to be lost. And I don't think it will be.